Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you an action horror film, Rampant. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins during the Joseon era of Korea, when the Chinese kingdom was influential and the king of Korea chose to coordinate with them and offered his youngest son, Prince Carter, as a tribute to the Chinese kingdom. Meanwhile, the king's eldest son, Crown Prince Young, stays behind in Korea. Prince Young leaves to witness the looming corruption of the imperial court, and the king sadly remains blind to their influence. The aristocracy of the corrupted pushes Prince Young to handle the situation behind the king's back. Prince Young deploys one of his loyal servants to coordinate with a Dutch gunrunner so they can secure equipment and weapons. The weapons are intended for the uprising against China. During the servant's deployment, the servant learns that the Dutch captain is carrying a sick man who's going to turn into a flesh-eating demon tomorrow. The servant returns to their hidden base and relays the payment agreement with the foreign merchant. They are nearly ready for the uprising when the imperial court's war minister, Kim, unexpectedly visits and hears about their plot. Kim delivers the news to the king. He lies about the weapons bought by the alleged rebels to overthrow the king, when they're really for China. The king fears losing the throne, so he gives an immediate order to capture and torture the rebels. The royal guards put the two captured rebels into torture, while the king and Kim wait for the rebels to reveal the identity of their mastermind. Meanwhile, Prince Young in his office is writing a will for Carter staying in the Chinese kingdom. After finishing the letter, he tasks the lieutenant with delivering the will on time. The lieutenant tries to stop Prince Young from surrendering, but he is certain that the king's decisions can't be stopped. Prince Young leaves his office and faces the king, asking him to stop torturing his servants, because they're not at fault but him. He confesses that he's the mastermind of the uprising and explains he only started a rebellion to liberate the Korean people from corruption. But the king keeps a close mind as expected, insists that his son is a traitor who defied his orders. The king strongly imposes that he's going to rule in the way he wants, regardless of whether it's the right or wrong choice. Prince Young loses hope for change because of the king's mindset. He knows the punishment for treason is death, and so he brings out his sword and kills himself in front of everyone. The following day, the king orders the royal guards to seize and confiscate the weapons from the Dutch ship and then burn them in the end. During the raid, the sick man from yesterday became a demon. The demon attacks one of the royal guards, but the demon is soon killed after the guard's comrades save him. After the mission, the royal guards land at a village in the morning. The infected guard limps as he returns home. He experiences symptoms of turning into a demon, such as an intense hunger for meat, bloodshot eyes, and sharp teeth. At night, the infected guard transforms completely into a demon and attacks his own family and fellow villagers. The following day, the village is quiet and empty. It's also the same day that Carter and his bodyguard, Ansel, return from China to Korea. They're confused because no one is waiting to welcome them. While Carter and Hansel venture deep into the village, they suspect a plague infected the whole village because of the piles of burned human bodies on the ground. Meanwhile, in the capital, Kim informs the king about the ordered lockdown in the plagued village, the posted bounty for the uprising conspirators, and the return of Prince Carter. Kim gives the king a letter about Carter's return. As the king reads the letter, he's confused as to why his youngest son quickly travels home the moment his older brother died. The king returns to his chamber after the meeting with Kim so he can enjoy a quiet time with one of his concubines. After enjoying a night with the king, the concubine visits Kim in a warehouse. She relays to him that his plan for the king to order a house arrest for Prince Young's pregnant wife is done. The concubine somehow shows pity towards the unborn baby, but Kim shows no remorse because the unborn child is nothing but a traitor's child. Meanwhile, in the plagued village, Carter and Hansel unexpectedly encounter a group of men claiming to be royal guards. However, Carter is smart enough to recognize them as assassins sent to kill him. The assassins quickly attack Carter, but Carter is an amazing swordsman who defends himself well. He displays great sword skill against them. Suddenly, demons spontaneously emerge from their hideouts and attack everyone. They manage to kill the majority of the assassins, while Carter defends himself from their vicious bites. During the fight between Carter and demons, one assassin flees from the battle and heads back into the palace. Soon after, demons nearly surround Carter and Hansel, but luckily, a group of fighters arrive and assist them in fighting the demons. The fighters help Carter kill all the demons. Afterward, Hansel and Carter think the fighters are another assassin sent for them, but the fighters introduce themselves as defenders of the villagers. Then the lieutenant identifies himself to Carter as Prince Young's former lieutenant, and he's the one sending Prince Young's will to him. The lieutenant then warns Carter about the demons. He describes them as flesh-eating creatures that are sensitive to sounds, vulnerable under sunlight, and die from penetration to their head or heart. Shortly after, the fighters bring Carter and Hansel to a safe house. On the way, the fighters explain two important things about demons. First, they need to burn demons so they don't resurrect, and second, their bite is contagious, because once they bite someone, they turn into demons too. The group arrives at the safe house behind the wall. Every living villager stays and endures the cold and the lack of resources. The lieutenant tells Carter that the royal guards on post in the plagued village abandoned them during the demon's first strike. He then shows Carter the infected villagers locked behind the cells. The infected villagers are hungry for meat and thirsty for blood, but the fighters can't do anything for them. Suddenly, the infected villagers call Carter the Crown Prince. Carter gets mad and walks out of the place in disbelief. However, the moment he goes outside, the rest of the villagers call him Crown Prince too. Carter simply ignores their call and continues into the forest. The four fighters follow him and explain that everyone is expecting him to claim the throne, but Carter knows it's impossible because he's a tribute to China. Meanwhile, the assassin who fled earlier returns to the palace with a bite from a demon. He reports to Kim and his assistants that he survived a demon strike after they killed Carter. However, the assassin doesn't know the effects of the infection, and so Kim tricks him into getting his reward in a dark cellar. The moment he opens the cellar, the assistants push him below and lock him forever. Afterward, Kim and his assistants worry about the Chinese envoy's arrival in the capital, so the two assistants think they need to proceed to the next plan soon. The plan is simple. They need to turn someone close to the king into a demon, so it's become easy to infect the king too. Once the king is infected, the Chinese envoys will arrive at the palace and witness the king's hopeless case. Afterward, Kim will claim the throne as the new king of Korea. Now that the plan is clear, Kim summons the concubine to the warehouse, but they lock her inside, then release a demon from the cellar, and then allow the demon to bite her. The following day, Carter initiates a conversation with Diana, the lieutenant's sister. He asks why they don't kill demons during the day, and Diana replies that demons would target them first thing at night. He then awkwardly flirts the smelly hormones out of her, trying to convince her to move to China with him. But Diana remains uninterested and insists on staying in her hometown. Elsewhere, a villager suddenly shouts for help because the infected villagers in the cage have turned into demons. In the palace, the concubine feels unwell during the king's breakfast because of the demon's bite. Suddenly, she contorts on the floor, transforming into a demon. She quickly tackles the king and bites him. A royal attendant separates the demon concubine from the king. The king is still stunned and orders to kill the concubine immediately. Shortly after, a guard kills her after the incident. In the plagued village, Carter changes into white clothing before traveling to the capital. The fighters want to accompany Carter because it's dangerous for him to travel alone, but Hansel thinks it's a stupid idea to bring low-status beings into the palace. Carter then suggests to them that if they want to come with him, then Diana needs to join him in China after the whole fiasco. Diana has no choice but to accept because she knows they need him. Carter smiles and eventually accepts their offer to escort him. Carter, Hansel, and the fighters arrive in the port to ride a boat across the river. However, the royal guard only allows Carter to cross alone because the plagued village is under a lockdown. The group eventually decides to let Carter go alone because it's useless to fight with the guard. Before Carter boards the boat, the lieutenant warns him about the cunning war minister, Kim, who manipulates the king's decision-making. He also reveals that Kim was the one who exposed Prince Young's insurgents to the king, which led Prince Young to commit suicide as part of his punishment for treason. In the capital, Kim conducts a meeting with the other 6 ministers. One of the ministers announces that Carter is alive and well in the port, along with the wanted lieutenant. The following day, Carter meets with the king in the royal court. He asks the king to send military assistance to the plagued village to deal with the ferocious demons. However, the ministers deny the existence of demons and claim it's only a rumor made by the villagers. Carter insists that demons are true and they need to act now before it reaches the capital. The king initially agrees to send an army, but Kim stops him. At that moment, Carter finally sees the man whom the lieutenant referred to yesterday. The king suddenly asks why he came back, and Carter assures him he's only fulfilling his older brother's wish and nothing more. The king unexpectedly descends from his seat and tells Carter that he shouldn't be blamed for Prince Young's death because he didn't do anything to hurt him. Carter leaves the royal court with complete disappointment in the king. If only the king could realize that his mistake was not doing anything to defend Prince Young from facing death. Carter visits his brother's wife next, so he can bring her to China tomorrow as per Prince Young's final request. However, she doesn't want to leave Korea because she wants to avenge her husband. So to convince her to join him, Carter shows her Prince Young's will. He assures her that they're going to deal with Korea's problem after she's settled safely in China. Carter then visits Prince Young's office, imagining his older brother writing the will on his table. Suddenly, Hansel arrives to tell Carter that the fighters are arrested because they're outlaw rebels. Outside, Kim and the other 6 ministers tell Carter a few announcements. It turns out the king revoked the military order to defend the plagued village, and Prince Yung's wife was told to join the banquet hosted for the Chinese envoys. Momentarily, the envoys arrive in the palace to express their disappointment with Carter as Korea's tribute. They demand another tribute as a sign that the king keeps his promises to China. Afterward, the king and the ministers attend a banquet celebration for the convoys near the palace. Meanwhile, after learning that the king is infected, Carter rushes into the banquet. It's already nighttime, and as the celebration occurs, Kim commences the next phase of his plan. He unleashes demons from his cellar before the party begins, and now he's simply waiting for the king to turn into a demon. The king eventually turns into a demon and attacks a performer. Carter has just arrived and sees the king devouring the performer. He's too late when Kim kills the infected king. The Chinese envoys threaten Kim to report Kim to the Chinese emperor, but Kim confidently proclaims that he's the new king of Korea who bows to no one, especially from the Chinese kingdom. Demons attack everyone the moment they reach the banquet. The ministers escape with the royal guards equipped with guns, while Carter saves Prince Young's wife from demons. Carter then releases his allies from prison and tells the royal guards that demons have overrun the palace. He also takes charge since the king is dead and commands the royal guards to secure and defend the gate to prevent demons from reaching the capital. Among the prisoners is Prince Gung's former servant, who immediately apologizes to everyone because he allowed Kim to bring demons to Korea. He explains that he had no choice because Kim threatened to kill his family if he didn't comply. At the gate, the royal guards defend the exit with all their might. However, more demons swarm and spread across the palace, including the prison. Fortunately, Carter and his allies escape from the prison after suffering a near-to-death experience because the demons nearly cornered them. Meanwhile, Kim brings the rest of the ministers to the warehouse. He tells them that he's going to be the new king of Korea, but the other ministers disagree because it's wrong to declare a new king while the heir is still alive. Upon hearing this, Kim shoots one of the ministers as a threat to shut up and obey him. Outside, the sun shines as dawn arrives. Demons immediately hide from sunlight, leaving behind a gruesome aftermath. Kim finally gets what he wants, but a demon suddenly bites him. His wound leads the ministers to kill him, but because of his desperation for power, he kills them all. He then cuts off his hand to slow the spread of the infection. Then he goes into the palace and wears a king's robe, declaring himself as Korea's new king. Meanwhile, the royal guard captain was bitten earlier during the defense, so Carter gives him a task for the last time, which is to deliver a request for backup from the reserves. While there's still a son, Carter uses the chance to bring his brother's wife to China. However, she insists they need to stay behind, because that's what Prince Young would do. Carter knows she's right, and so he accepts her decision to stay and defend Korea. For the last battle, Carter and his allies form a plan. They must first fill a palace with oil and gunpowder, then lure as many demons as possible inside, and finally set the palace on fire. But first, they visit the warehouse's cellar to gather the necessary materials, where Kim previously hid his demons. Unfortunately, during their garnering of supplies, Kim is in the cellar and unleashes his horde of demons on Carter and his allies. Most of them escape with the needed materials, but Carter stays behind to duel with Kim. However, Kim corners Carter and nearly kills him, but Hansol saves Carter by pushing down the shelves to fall over Kim. Carter finally escapes, followed by Hansol. Suddenly, Kim grabs Hansol and steps on his back, showing Carter that he caught his trusted bodyguard. From afar, Carter watches in horror as Kim raises his sword and kills Hansol. Suddenly, clouds fill the sky, covering the sunlight. Demons wreak havoc again and chase after Carter and his allies. The group run back into the palace, while one of the remaining fighters attacks the approaching demons. Unfortunately, a demon bites him, and the allies know what is to come. They leave him outside the palace as pain surges through everyone's body. The infected fighter requests his fellow to kill him while he's still a human, because he doesn't want to turn into a demon, and the fellow does the honor to fulfill his wish. It's nearly nighttime, and Carter volunteers to strike the drum to attract demons inside the palace. However, the lieutenant wants to do it because he has only a little time left before he turns into a demon. He explains a demon bit him during the escape. Diana cries and embraces her brother for the last time. The time has come for the lieutenant to strike the drum. Demons quickly fill the palace with every hit he does. Finally, it's time to end the battle once and for all, and so the lieutenant ignites the gunpowder and lets the fire travel. Suddenly, Kim interrupts the plan and stops the fire. He kills the lieutenant and then sits on the throne because he's now the king of demons. Carter and his allies fear something has gone wrong, and so Carter decides to return to the palace to check on what's happened. But before he returns, he first borrows his older brother's sword. Then he rides a horse and maneuvers his way into the palace, killing and crushing demons. Upon reaching the palace, he sees that the lieutenant is now a demon. Just then, Kim appears before Carter, and they wrestle their muscles for the second time. While fighting against each other, Carter intentionally breaks the jars of oil and gunpowder to make the palace flammable. He tries igniting a fire with the sword, but Kim manages to extinguish them all. Suddenly, an inflamed arrow lands on the ceiling post, and Carter knows that the archer sent the arrow. So Carter climbs the ceiling beam and watches Kim below him with pity. Then he grabs the inflamed arrow and throws it below. The movie ends with the palace engulfed in flames. Carter climbs to the roof, thinking he has finished the job. But Kim is persistent and follows him on the roof. They wrestle muscles for the third time as smoke surrounds them. The roof begins crumbling, and Carter makes the roof crack, causing Kim to fall to his death while he clings for his life. Carter watches from afar the reserves and the people charging at the demons. He smiles upon realizing that they won because of the people. It also means that being a king is useless without his people. The following day, Carter is now the new king of Korea, and he's leading an army to rescue the people of the Plate Village from demons. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.